say you're having a bad day and oh, I hate how I look, or I hate this, I hate that. You continue to project that, your mind is going to believe it.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we have Angelica. We're talking all things healing. But first, today's show is brought to you by Batch. Balance is a master key to life. Unlock your expression. Go to www.bammllc.net/shop batch for all your clothing and accessory needs. Angelica,
Yes.
welcome to the show. How you feeling? What's up with you?
I'm doing amazing by Allah's grace, brother. How are you?
I feel great. I feel good. I woke up this morning. I feel good. I've been to the playground with Libby. We've been out riding bikes. We've been out riding scooters. We've been out singing and laughing and joking and getting food and playing Roblox and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yes.
So life is good.
Yes, I love it. It just sounded like you was just enjoying your peace.
I try. I mean, I'm a cop,
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
got a lot of
yeah.
stuff during the week. On my 2 days off, I got to get all the healing, all the
Healing,
healing.
okay. Exactly.
Cool. So, hey, Joyful Connections, Life Coaching. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Well, y'all got something to say? Y'all say it in the comments. I'm good at reading the comments. Me. Welcome. All right, let's jump into it. All things healing. Um, let's start with the mind, if that's okay with you.
Of course, of
Okay.
course. That's the
So,
best.
the mind, right? We had these negative thoughts. How do we overcome negative thoughts? What are some practices that you know of that we can do to kind of contend with the negative thoughts that occur?
I think the best way to handle negative thoughts are replacing them with good thoughts. Um, as easy as it sounds, it is kind of difficult, to do that. But once you are repetitive in changing your thoughts, first you have to be aware. First you have to be aware of what are you thinking. With me, I'm an empath. So when I'm thinking something negative, or I'm in a negative environment, like my body actually responds to me. Sometimes if I am stressed out, or if I'm thinking something or overwhelming myself, I get a headache. That's me. That's how my body is telling me that, okay, something is wrong, something is going on, I need to fix it. So, because this actually happened probably about a week ago. I had a little headache. I'm like, man, I think I drank enough water. Um, I try to go down the list of things of what could actually be going on before I run to like medicine. I'm in like the natural stuff, so I try to do things before I run to medicine. But I try to go down a list of what else it could be. So, when it comes to negative thoughts, I just really believe that once you are able to, I want to say, manipulate your mind in a way to believing, you know, something, then you're able to change it. And if you're repetitive with it, as far as telling yourself that, say you're having a bad day and, oh, I hate how I look, or I hate this, I hate that. You continue to project that, your mind is going to believe it. Literally, whatever you tell yourself, they say words are powerful. It holds so much value. So whatever you tell yourself, you're really speaking life or death. So you want to make sure that when you are in a negative space, uplift yourself with positive words, with positive things. That's the first thing I do. When I'm having a negative thought, I always try to switch to something that I enjoy, or something that I like, oh, I love my son, or I find something that I like to do, or something I know to instantly switch my thinking. But the first way for you to actually do that is to be aware. A lot of us is not aware. We're not aware of when we are thinking of something negative, because they say that, I want to say 68 or 78% um, of our time, we spend our time thinking of negative thoughts all the time. So our negative thoughts overweigh our positive thoughts, so once you are aware that you're thinking something negative, that's when you need to stop yourself at that point and switch to something positive. I don't care what it is. Be like, oh, I have nice shoes. Oh, she's beautiful. Or just, you got to find something positive in your mind to switch. And I'm telling you, if you keep doing that, it'll work. I'm telling you.
Okay, so the becoming aware part, I think becoming aware is probably the hardest part, because it's difficult to know what you don't know.
Mhm.
You don't know what you don't know. Now, I know the thing that popped me open to the reality that our minds just think on their own, right? They kind of just
Mhm.
run amok, was a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember, or can you tell us how you came to the realization, like, hold on, like, I have to be able to control this thing, and I can be the driver of this mind? How did you come to that realization?
I think what happened with me is that I start noticing a physical effect on me um when I allow myself to overthink, or when I allow myself to be bombarded with negative thoughts. Eventually, what happened is that, if you continue to bombard yourself with negative thoughts, it will show itself. It will manifest itself in a physical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I was able to notice that was when I started having anxiety, or start having anxiety. Or I think that for me, that was just what it was. The anxiety hit me hard. So when I was having anxiety, I knew that, okay, something's wrong. So let me start with what I'm thinking. And when I noticed that I started changing the way that I was thinking and switching them to positive, to me, that was my sign that, okay, this is how I can know when I need to switch. Some people are different, you know. If it don't show up, if it don't show up, I guess physically for people, I think for the most part it ends up doing it if you do it so many times. Just start being aware of your environment. Sometimes what you think may come out in any situation that you're in. And if you see yourself continuously going in a certain cycle in a situation, that's where you can notice, and then take a look back at yourself, or like take a look back at yourself, and then figure out, okay, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? So for me, it was me seeing it manifest physically for me to, okay, maybe I need to change how I'm thinking.
Mm. Okay, so I think, because I've been through that too, and what I've kind of found is that there's a fine line, right, between overcoming negative thoughts and just absolutely avoiding my emotions, right?
Mm.
It's a tightrope almost, right? Because you don't want to get to the point where you feel negatively about something, or you're sad, or one of these emotions that we don't really want to feel, and you use the positive replacement thinking to get out of it, but it's almost like you're not dealing with that emotion. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's kind of like you're kind of suppressing it by trying to do something else to avoid dealing with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like, I mean, I've gotten pretty good at it. Like, I've gotten good to the point where I was actually angry the other day, and I realized,
Okay.
well, like, you know what? I'm angry, and I didn't have any desire to replace my anger with anything else. What I wanted to do was embrace the anger, not in a negative way. I wanted to
Yeah.
feel it. Like, I'm angry. I don't want to fight it off, and so I think it's important. Like, are we talking about useless negative thoughts that really don't have a purpose, or are we just talking about contending with the natural emotions that we all have?
I think that emotions are normal. It's our body's way of telling us when something is off, when something
Mm-hmm.
is like not balanced. So to me, when I'm thinking of a negative thought and I do try to replace it with a positive thought, I always think about what's the word? I always think about how I perceive a thing. It's all about how you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
How you look at a thing. So say that, like you said, you were angry and you didn't want to just ignore it. Like, hey, I'm angry. It is what it is, and I'm gonna deal with it. That's what it always comes to, because we have to understand, these are emotions. This is the way that our body tells us that something is wrong. However, how are you going to handle it? It's all about how you react to a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you could have been angry and you could have want to go punch everybody in the house or whatever, go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you chose to deal with that anger in a different way. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're able to learn a different way to handle your emotions, to me, I believe that you're able to, do a lot. Like if you can handle it, and I think anybody can, you can handle it. You just gotta teach yourself. We've been so conditioned to think that it's normal to react in a foolish way when it comes to our emotions, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And because we don't know how to truly react when it comes to our emotions, sometimes we make bad decisions. Sometimes, we do things that we regret, but, it's okay. It's really okay. Like, I won't say that I want to get rid of anxiety completely, because that's the body's way of telling me that something may be wrong, and I may need to check it. But
Mm-hmm.
what I am going to do, because sometimes people anxiety can cause them to do certain things, or people's anger can cause them to do certain things. I'm going to learn how to react to it. I'm going to learn how to respond to my anxiety. I'm going to learn how to respond to this anger so I know how to make the best decision out of it.
Mm. Okay, let me get the comments. Crew Lover said toxic positivity. Monty P said you can trick yourself.
Mm.
Joyful connections, life coaching. Once you truly know who you are and what your real streams are, and when a negative thought or criticism of yourself creeps in your mind, it doesn't match what you know about yourself. Reject it.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Red Shoe 1234. She said your mind is very powerful, can play tricks on you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Monty P said, whatever you speak about yourself, you're the first person to hear it. And I pin that because that's deep. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
I
you,
see.
you that's dope. And then Monty P said, how do people learn that skill? What skill you talk about, Monty P? So let me know in the comments. Um, there's something that I thought about once I kind of discovered the ability to replace negative thoughts was like, you know what? This is like being a good liar. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, in a way.
It's like being a positive liar, which is cool.
Yeah,
I can lie to me as long as the end game is worth it. I'll lie to me. I'm great.
exactly. Listen, tell me anything. I don't care.
Right. So let me ask you this: a lot of us have a way of identifying ourselves. Our self identity comes from victimhood, right? How do we overcome that self identity of being a victim and become like a victim?
Ooh, that's deep. Let me think about that. Nah, but when it comes to, are you saying just knowing that you? I'm sorry about that. If y'all hear that loud noise, they drive crazy around
It's
here.
all good.
But are you saying like how to know that you are a victim without playing the victim,
Yeah,
Or can you
like you
explain
could
that a little?
like you
Yeah.
could like we're all victims of something, right? Like everyone gets
Yeah.
their feelings hurt, but there's a difference in being a victim, right? Which is an actual fact. Someone did this to me, which makes me a victim.
You're right.
But then there's the playing the victim, right? So the event that causes you to be a victim becomes a part of your self identity. So you get into this thing where you want to tell everybody about the bad thing that happened to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of empowering yourself, like, man, I overcame it. Like that, it can't stop me. So I guess my question is really like, what do you think people can do to break that victimhood mentality? Because if you play the victim all the time, that becomes your self identity. Now, if you're no longer
Mm-hmm.
the victim, you have an even bigger, better problem, which is, if that's not who I am, then who am I?
Exactly. Exactly. So I think when it comes to that, we really have a we really have a problem with forgiveness. Um I believe that, like you said, there are situations where people has hurt us and has treated us bad, and we use that, and that does become our identity. But it comes a point to where you have to really sit with yourself and forgive that person for yourself. Once you are able to forgive yourself and forgive the situation, you're not able to play the victim no more. There's no victim in nothing anymore. Like you left it alone. There's nothing for you to hinder over anymore. You allow that situation to be what it is. You accept it. We have a hard time of accepting things. We don't want to accept it because we're like, no, they hurt us. They did this, they did that. But understand that, to me, I feel like everything is always in Allah's plan and God's plan. No matter how the situation goes, whatever He permits is what happens. So forgive yourself, forgive that person, forgive that situation, so you're not still stuck being that victim in whatever situation that you're in, or whoever you're perceiving yourself to be now. You have to let go. You have to move on. You have to rebirth yourself, be reborn. So sometimes you may have to go back into those, maybe you have to go back and retrace those moments where you were a victim, you know, and change your perspective of a thing. That's my whole thing. Change your perspective of it, and then forgive yourself and forgive that person.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Camille said, I've never been a victim, only a witness and experiencer. So she's like, this is all an experience that I am a part of.
Mm,
Um,
I like that.
and she said, positive thoughts are corrective thoughts. Look at it as all learning experience. And Monty P
Exactly.
said, the skill of knowing how to replace negative thoughts. And her original question was, how do people learn that skill? So how do we learn the skill of replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts? How do we learn it? How do we learn it?
Yeah. So, I think we must first know ourselves. You have to take time for yourself. I think, and I can't, and I'm only speaking for myself, and then, my perspective of what others may be feeling. I believe that we don't really take the time to get to know ourselves. Once you're able to know who you truly are by sitting with yourself, addressing certain situations, knowing your flaws, knowing your wrongs, knowing your rights, knowing what you love to do, what knows what brings you peace, you're able to self-correct yourself naturally because you know who you are. So
Mm,
once you know who you are, you're able to change your perspective of the things and start incorporating positive positivity into your life, because
mm,
you know who you are. I know who I am, and that gives you confidence because you know who you are. Once that's what I believe. Start finding out who you are. Start learning more about yourself. Take some time out for yourself to know yourself, so when you are in a negative space in your life, you're able to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, because you know who you are and you truly believe it, and it becomes you. So that's what I did. 2020, I was pregnant with my son. That I was pregnant, and that me by far, that was the craziest time of my life with the pandemic. I was had a lot of anxiety. I was scared, and to me, I kind of feel like it was just a point in my life where I just didn't know myself. Like, I'm like, man, like, I just didn't know how to control my anxiety. I didn't know how to do, I just felt everywhere. But in 2021, last year, um, I went through something that brought me to just separate from people. I was isolated for a while. And in that isolation, I was able to find out who I truly am. Like, I didn't know how much I love being in nature. I didn't know how much I love just being to myself, and also me. I'm a spiritual person. I was able to connect more to my creator. And with me being able to connect more with my creator gave me more of the strength and power to sit with myself, to get to know myself, to learn myself, to be able to be who I am now and how I am now, to be able to handle adversities, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I believe.
Okay. Camille said, "How do we get to know ourselves?" And then Monty P later on said, "In isolation, that's where you find yourself." I do it. I know for me, in terms of finding myself, I got into meditation, and I
I love
mean,
it.
yeah, I got into meditation, and when you get into meditation and you realize that like you are like the silent, timeless witness of all of this crazy shit.
Yes.
You're like, wait a minute, like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Uh-huh.
And I
I
think that,
know.
yeah, I think Keisha said nature, water, quiet, and
Mm.
yeah, I mean, so Camille is somebody who's really deep and in tune with the allness.
Mm-hmm.
So, Auntie, if you have a comment that could help us out on that one, you're more than welcome to drop it down there. Um, what's your opinion on like psych meds and medication and stuff like that in terms of dealing with the mind?
Who? Um, Me personally, um, I never truly believed that medication could help with that. Only because, to me, medication is only something to suppress it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn how to deal with it. Life is a problem within itself. You cannot run from problems. If you are trying to run from problems, you're not living. You're not living. Life is a problem. So when we try to use medication or prescription or whatever the doctors give us to handle it at the moment, it stops us from being who we truly are, and yeah, fights us for being who we truly are, to be able to handle it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't, when, I'm gonna speak back when I was pregnant, I had a lot of anxiety. The doctor was trying to put me on medication because of my anxiety and stuff like that. I was like, no. I said, I don't care what I have to do. If I gotta do some meditation, if I need to drink more herbal teas, if I need to do, like, nothing was going to make me take no medicine to try to handle my mind. That's just me, because we are more powerful and more valuable. We were made to handle adversity. So the thing is that what we need to do when it comes to that is just try to learn how to control our minds. If we're able to learn how to control our minds, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not saying it easy. It's easy. Ain't nothing easy,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, especially when you're trying to get to know yourself. But when you're able to learn who you truly are and understand your mind, then you will look at medication and stuff like this, like, okay, it's not going to work. It's always some type of side effect when it comes to stuff like that. I bear witness. It's not, it's a suppressor. And all it does, in my mind, it just hinders your growth. It hinders you. It hinders a person from growing into that God that that needs to be out here helping people or coming out. Like it just hinders you. I don't believe. I don't care for it. I don't like that. You know, some people have to go that route to take it, and I'm not saying anything bad about anybody who may need to take it. If you believe that you can't handle the stress or the anxiety or depression or whatever you're going through, if you believe that may work, by all means, that's you. But I believe that will not solve your problem, because what ends up happening is that becomes a habit. You end up getting in the habit of to using something to help you. So like you gotta think, like, what if they didn't have these medications to help you with your anxiety or depression? Like, what are you gonna do? Now you're forced to deal with yourself. That's why it all come back to learning how to love yourself and know who you truly are, so you're able to handle life adversities.
Mm. Okay, Monty P said, as a mental health provider, I realize some people need medication therapy to even out. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want to mess up your name. It's uni_my. Absolutely not. Western medicine isn't made for the melanated. Herbs are the best medicine. Keisha said, you cannot run from problems. Life is a problem.
There you go.
Joyful Connection said, I sit down and write all things you love about yourself, and I promise your list of likes outweigh your dislikes.
Wow. I
So
journal all the time. So yeah.
I do it once my emotions get high, and when I say high, I don't necessarily mean bad. They could be good, and I
Yeah.
might write they might be bad, But whenever they get elevated, um, I have this saying that I haven't fully downloaded into my mental software yet, but completely. But I'm getting there, right? And I told my therapist this one day. I was like, yo, I don't believe in problems. He was like, what? I was like, I don't believe in problems. Problems don't exist. He's like, yo, like, what you mean? And I was
Mm.
like, well, I said, if there's a problem and I have a solution, then it's not a problem. It's just something that I need to do,
Yes.
right? And if I have a problem and there is no solution, then it's not really not a problem. It's just reality for me to accept it.
Accept it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I still
Mm-hmm.
find myself being like, call my man up, like, yo, I got a problem.
Oh my gosh. I understand. I mean, it's because we know the solution. So that I get what you're saying. Like, you know how to handle it, but maybe you just need somebody to just kind of reiterate and help you try to get you in the right direction to solve the problem.
The
So I
problem that
get it.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Yeah, so let's transition from the mind, the realm of the mind, and let's move to another invisible area of the emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's get specific, right? Let's talk about, a lot of times on my show we talk about relationships, we talk about marriages and man law and woman code and all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do we heal from heartbreak?
Ooh, go through it.
Mm.
The only way to deal with a heartbreak, oh my gosh. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't want to get personal, but I dealt with a heartbreak. And heartbreaks are hard to deal with. They're very hard to deal with. You have to allow yourself some time and have, I'm sorry, how it's hard for me to say this because people don't want to have patience, and I'm one of them. But in order for you to actually deal with a heartbreak, you have to go through it. It comes a time through a heartbreak you have to grieve. That's a part of the emotions. You have to cry. Then you go into acceptance. Once you're able to accept that, hey, it is what it is, and accept that God has another route for you. This is just another route, you know. So I believe that once you're able to just go through the hurt and the pain, you're able to deal with it.
Mm.
Give
So
me a moment. My baby crying. Hold 1 second.
it's all good. Perfect timing, perfect timing, perfect timing. Today we're talking about all things healing. Peace, AJ Throwback, my man. Today's show is brought to you by Backs. Balance is a master key to life. Unlock your expression. When you're done with this live, y'all run over to BAMMLLC.net/shop bag for all your clothing, apparel, and accessory needs. We in here. What up, baby boy?
Don't look so mean, Amir. Oh.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Say
So,
hello.
hey, you say hi?
Say hi.
Hi. Oh, you wave to me. That's what's up. So, my wife said you have to sit in the heartbreak,
Mhm.
growing through it, feel it, relive it, feel the pain over and over until the pain dulls.
Yes, yes. Um, Time heals all wounds. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's really true. It's really true. Like when you give yourself some time, you'll end up forgetting about it. And then you're
Mm.
gonna find and then what ends up happening is that, God he always replaces you with something better. So just know it's something better ahead, you know?
Mm.
Mhm.
It makes me think, when I think about heartbreak, I think about going to the default, um, the default gratitude space,
Mhm.
right? Like, I'm hurt. However, I can still breathe. I can still see. I can still walk. I have, I'm not I'm not in poverty. The water's running in my house. The AC's on. I can go for
There
a
you
drive. All of
go.
the things that I was before the relationship that brought about the heartbreak, all of those things are still there and
Mhm.
more now.
Exactly. Yeah, because we end up forgetting about ourselves. We
Right.
forget who we are. We forget who we are before we even get into a relationship. Like we just forget who we are. So start doing things to remind you of who you are. Start doing things that you were doing before the heartbreak. And that's what I had to do. I had to
Mm.
do that. I had to start doing things that I was doing before to, not ignore the heartbreak, but just occupy my time a little bit more to just heal better. So I definitely believe that.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Breaking the action. Tell us about your podcast.
Yes, yes, yes. So my podcast is called, give me a moment. Amir, what's going on? My podcast is called Heal with Angelica Watters podcast. Hold 1 second. It's okay, baby.
Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. I'm gonna put it in the comments. Heal with Angelica. 2 T's, right?
Yes, yes. So my podcast is called Heal with Angelica Watters podcast. I just started it about a month ago, and it's been going great. We discuss all things healing. I believe that it was time for me to uh, just express myself and also give other people a chance to use my platform as a safe place for them to come to express themselves because we are beings that we want to express ourselves. We want to tell people what we go through. We don't have some people don't have that support, us being able to tell people, what they've been through. And sometimes your story may be that story to help somebody in whatever situation that they may be going through. So I wanted my podcast to be a space for women and men to come heal and share their story and testimony. Oh no, hold on, wait. I can barely hear you, Sissy. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I hit the mute button.
I'm like, I said, is my headphones going
Nah,
dead?
that was me. I must have accidentally hit it when I was scrolling. So let's do
Oh,
this.
okay,
Let's do
okay.
this. Let me hit the comments, and then I want to get into some of the topics that I've had conversations with people throughout the week, because I want your opinion on it. We got some people in here who like these topics, right?
Okay.
Joyful connections. When someone hurts you and leaves you, they are clearing the way for someone to love you properly. Keisha said she definitely needs to check your podcast out. She said patience. They say they can't hear me. They can't hear me. There I am. I'm here. Cool. So, do you believe in unconditional love?
Yes.
Can you love yourself unconditionally?
Yes.
Can you love someone else who's not your child unconditionally?
I don't know. I don't know. God, I mean, I don't know. No. Only other person I'm gonna love unconditionally except my child is God.
What about yourself?
Oh, well, yeah. I guess me, yeah. Yes.
Okay, yeah, Keisha, we're going through this week's recap. Now, here's another question. We're going to talk about givers,
Okay.
right? People who are givers. But they're
Ooh, I'm one of
givers.
them.
They are givers to a fault. So how do givers set boundaries in order to make sure they're fulfilling their own wants and needs while maintaining their self-identity as a giver?
I mean, you said how do they set boundaries?
Yeah, like if you're a giver,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times what happens is you will prioritize other
People
people's
before yourself.
right, but what happened? The problem is that resentment grows. It can grow.
Exactly.
So how someone who's a giver find the fine line between staying true to who they are as a giver while not always putting themselves at the bottom of the priority list?
You have to you have to set some boundaries. And with those boundaries have to come some self-respect. Some respect.
Mm.
Like if you respect yourself enough, you're gonna respect yourself enough to set some boundaries and respect yourself enough to know that you may be giving too much into a situation. Self-love. That's where we have to go back into.
Mm.
Falling back on some discipline. When you're able to set discipline. Ooh, discipline. I think a lot of people got a hard
Oh, we can't hear you.
time to discipline yourself. When you're able to set those boundaries, so you won't put yourself in a predicament to when you're over pleasing somebody, being a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
People pleaser.
Yeah, I think it goes back to something you were talking about earlier too, which is when you've given to the point where resentment is beginning to grow, your body will tell you. So when the taker or the person who needs something comes along and they ask you for something, your heart or your body will kind of tell you like I'm kind of tired of giving
Yeah.
at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like your spirit's like I'm tired of giving away my energy. I want to keep some of my energy for me.
Exactly. So you're able to like when I was in my last relationship, man, I'm telling you, like, we are so smart, we are so intelligent, like God always sends us a sign. It's gonna be something, but we always tend to ignore it. It's our instincts, our gut. It always tells us when something may be wrong, so I knew in my mind, I was like,
I love this person. We spent so many years together, but I'm exhausted.
Mm.
I started to feel exhausted. I noticed I was more sad than I was happy, you
Mm.
know? So once I noticed the effect that I was having on the relationship, I knew that okay, something has to give. I'm either gonna have to set some boundaries or I'm gonna have to let this situation go. And it was definitely the hardest decision I had ever had to make. But of course, we never know what it is on the other side, you know, because we're afraid. We always, I think, any of us, are scared to take risks. So, it was me taking a risk of, leaving somebody I was dealing with for years because I wasn't getting what I deserved in the situation, to see what may be out there that's better, but not purposely trying to look for it. That was the time for me to find myself again, to find myself and heal. So being able to set them boundaries and being able to recognize, and your body will let you know, your mind will let you know, like it will let you know. We have warning signs all the time. There's
Mm.
always a warning sign. You gonna know. And
Mm.
we need to go with our instincts. We need to go with our gut. Cause the warning is gonna keep coming. It'll keep coming until you get it. I do not care. And what happened is that if you don't heed the warning when you first get it, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna keep getting worse, and you're gonna feel it. You're gonna
Mm.
see it too. It's gonna manifest itself.
I look at it like inflammation. You know what I'm
Woo!
saying? Like at first it burns a little, and the more you ignore it, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse before you like, okay, I can't walk. So I guess at this point, I guess I should go see somebody about this burning knee
Oh
or
my gosh,
elbow.
that's crazy. Because that's how we are. That's
Yeah.
literally how we are. Like, we wait until the worst possible situation
Mm-hmm.
to actually do something. So we're not being proactive. What is it called? Proactive, or
Yeah.
proactive before it gets to that point.
Mm.
Wow. I like that. I like that analogy you did.
Yeah. So Camille said, wait 24 hours before you give. She also said, think, right? And I'm going back. And Keisha, yes, it goes back to working on yourself. Joyful connections. If I'm giving and I feel annoyed about it, I won't give. Yep. So, and my wife said, when it affects your peace, that's when something should change, right? So, one more question to kind of wrap up what we've been talking about throughout the week.
Yeah.
Would you rather have peace or would you rather have happiness?
Happiness.
Why?
Because happiness is a part of life. Happiness is abundance, and abundance is our birthright. Peace,
Mm.
I think that peace, peace can kind of correlate with happiness, but, I would rather be happy and smile and enjoy life,
Mm.
you know. Peace,
So
I love peace too, being at peace with certain situations, but just pure happiness, to me, that's the goal, just being happy. You know, I like that. What she say? Peace becomes happiness.
I just
Yeah.
pinned it. Peace becomes happiness. So
Yeah.
my perspective is this: I'd rather have peace,
Okay.
right? And some of my audience, they were there for the live that we had about this. I would rather
Okay.
have I would rather have peace because I think peace is a more sustainable state of being to have in a
Mm.
transient existence. So like as much as I would like to be happy all the time, that ain't gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing and accepting that happiness is as fleeting as sadness is and
Mm-hmm.
as everything else, if I can be at peace through the happiness and the sadness, then regardless of whether I'm happy or sad, I'm at peace. So that's why I say I take the peace
Ooh.
over the happy. If I gotta choose, I'd rather have both of them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, yeah. That too.
But if I gotta choose, I take the peace.
Exactly. Well, I love that. That was great.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Let me ask you this: how do you want the world to remember you?
I want the world to remember me as a person that loved others. Like I I I I just I want to heal the world. Like I feel like, I'm such a people person, and like I just don't ever want to see anybody hurt or sad. So like I just want people to remember me like, man, she helped me, she healed me, she's a giver, she's a lover. Remember me with love, because love is the most powerful emotion and frequency anybody can be in.
Mm. Okay, cool. One of the things that I skipped, right?
Okay.
When you speak of God, I hear you say Allah, right?
Yes.
But I want to talk or ask you about prayer,
Yes.
right? My prayers, I feel weird when I pray, right?
Okay.
I feel like Kanye say, like my prayers is like Ben Stiller's and Meet the Parents. But I'm good at meditation, right?
Okay.
So this is just for me. I don't. My audience can think what they want to think about it. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to ask you to teach me how to pray or about prayer, what would you tell me?
I would tell you that prayer is a sincere conversation with God.
Mm.
Um, we don't have to know exactly how to pray. As long as you're sincere and you have an open heart, then He will hear your prayer. You have to be sincere. You know, a lot of the time, what I notice is that, we don't we typically pray when something's wrong. We never just pray to get praise, you know. And sometimes to me, I just think that, that's not cool. God allows us to be here, wake up another day, open our eyes, breathe, smell, everything. So when you're sincere about what you're praying for, he'll hear your prayer. He'll hear your prayer. So that's what I believe. If you're sincere with you, prayer to me is being sincere, is being genuine, to having an open heart.
Mm. I like that. I like that. The way I think about it, this is what I tell myself.
Okay.
Say I'm out for a walk and I see a bird or a flower or some kids playing or something like that. And I'm in that moment of like gratitude or appreciation. Like, yo, I'm alive to get to experience this. Like, this is cool, right? Like, how did
Yes.
this happen? Like, a whole universe exists. And here I am looking at that bird. And I've asked myself, like, being in that state, is that state of gratitude, even though it's not, even though the words, the feelings that I'm having really can't be expressed in words. Words lessen the experience. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm in a state of non-verbal prayer. Like the
Yes.
gratitude I feel is the prayer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I tell myself. I don't know.
No,
You
like
know.
no, that's fine. Like the greatest thing that you can ever do is give thanks and be grateful, gratitude. Because He doesn't owe us nothing. We can be here today, gone tomorrow, and that's just
Mm.
reality. So be in a moment, just like you said. You just looking at the world like, wow, I'm in this universe. It's birds flying, got flowers growing out the ground, just bugs flying. Like, just when you just enjoy life and just be grateful for where you are, man. God knows and He sees, because God is inside of us. So you're
Mm.
bringing out that expression of gratitude, and you're able to attract more of that, which is you attracting more blessings. To me,
Mm.
that's what I believe.
Okay, cool. It's time for your top 5 dead or alive. You know what that is?
No.
Okay. See, you gotta stick around to the end of the shows.
Okay, let's see this.
So, you have to tell me 5 people, dead or alive, real or fictional, that you would like to sit down and have a one-on-one intimate conversation with. You do not have to rank them 1 through 5, but the idea is for you to give me 5 people.
5 people I would like to have a conversation with, dead or alive.
Dead or alive, real or fictional.
Okay. The first person I would like to have a conversation with is the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Tupac. I know.
Okay.
Tupac. I just love just everything about him. Who else? Wow. I like Bob Proctor.
Who is Bob Proctor?
He was this law of attraction guy. He wrote so many books. You gotta check him out. Bob Proctor.
Okay.
He was pretty cool. He was great. He actually just passed away. I was like, oh my gosh, why? But yeah. Wow, I can't think of anybody else really. Let me see here. I got 2. No, was that 3?
You got 3. You got Farrakhan, Pac, and Bob Proctor.
Farrakhan, Bob Proctor. Malcolm X.
Ooh, people love Malcolm be in everybody's top 5. Everybody. I'm gonna bring Malcolm back, and we just go fill up Madison Square Garden, and we all get to ask him 5 questions.
Okay. Yes, Malcolm X. Oh my God, yeah. And who? My last person, dead or alive.
It's getting thick.
Okay. I don't know. I love Aaliyah.
Ooh, Aaliyah. What would you want to talk to Aaliyah about?
Singer. I just loved her. I would love to have a conversation with her. Aaliyah.
What's your favorite Aaliyah song?
1 in a Million. I Care for You. I didn't so much care about Rock the Boat, but
that's my favorite.
Rock the Boat.
I love Rock the Boat. I love Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? I think I be honest, and I know the Beehive they be coming for people. I liked or loved Aaliyah more than Beyonce.
Yeah, they said she would have stuck around and she would have dominated. I believe so too.
I think so. This is the way I kind of look at them. I do think Beyonce's a better singer, 1 for 1.
Yeah.
But to me, listening to Aaliyah sing is like if butterflies could sing, they would sound like Aaliyah. And I like that.
Yes. Her voice. It was something. She was beautiful. She was, yeah. Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah. So AJ said Aaliyah would have been a great one. Met her once, and she had the brightest spirits I've ever encountered in my life. So he got to meet her. So we hating on him. We about to kick him out the chat.
No, bye. See you later.
He coming here flexing. Yeah, so I met her one time.
Right? Like really?
That's funny. Well, look. I appreciate you coming on. I always give my guests an opportunity to ask me a question. Sometimes they ask in the middle, and but you didn't ask me a question. So here's your moment to ask me a question if you have one for me.
Yes. Okay. Let me think here. What is your life's purpose?
Ooh. My life's purpose.
Do you know your life's purpose?
I know it to a certain degree, but it's really simple.
Okay.
to experience that which I am experiencing right now.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. I think life, I think when you get down to it, this is what I think when you get down to it, right? Um, I think God is all of us,
Yes.
right? And I think that God uh likes to or enjoys experiencing everything that it can be.
Mm.
And so what we are doing here really is simply having an experience,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to answer your question from a more time-based experience, meaning like I'm not always going to be Marcello in this
Yeah.
physical form, which is really what the question is about. Um, I think within the past year, I just found out what like my calling is or what I'm
Yeah.
extremely like into or good at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know that I enjoy asking people questions
Okay.
from a genuine standpoint, right? Like I don't care whether we agree or not. I care what you think. I care your opinions. I care your outlook. And so I believe that my life's calling is to be a person who is present for people to communicate with and to rub my wife's feet.
Ah! I seen that too. All right now, wifey, you better let them know.
Yeah. So
Well, I love that.
yeah, that's the best that I could do.
Wow.
I was
Mm-hmm.
I was laying down one night and I was just thinking about how do I like to how would I want to quantify, how can I, not that you can quantify God,
Yeah.
but to the degree that my software can understand it,
Mm-hmm.
how would I do that? And the best thing that I could think of was like, it wasn't even words, it was like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in the center of all of this is nothing physical, but there's just being. There's just a conscious awareness of its own self.
Yes.
And what it does is it's like, okay, I kind of want to do some other things.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna come back. Then I want to do this, and then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
And the you know the this part of it, this is all us. As it expands, it becomes me. It becomes you. It becomes all of these things, and it's like that's why we are like, wow, I'm really in this joint. I'm really in
Yeah.
here. So that's my piece. I appreciate you coming on. I love
Yes.
you, sister. It's
Thank
all
you,
good.
brother. Love you too. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to hop on and just speak with you and, conversate with you. It was a great conversation. Love the questions. Ooh, you dived in deep with those. I love it. Yes.
Absolutely not a problem. Today's show is brought to you by Batch. Balance is a master key to life. Unlock your expression. BAM, BAMMLLC.net/shop Batch. Y'all come holler at us. We good. This was great. I love y'all. Y'all be good. Peace.
Peace.